And what's the motherfucking deal, YouTube? This your boy, Coach Dante, in the motherfucking building, back with another podcast. I don't know what episode this is, but I don't keep up on that, man. But I got another special guest, man, who's kind of like me, football, basketball. The guy deserves more subs than he has. And like I say, man, the guy's a great person. He shows up to the streams. I say again, y'all already know what I always say. I don't care, man, if the guy don't stay a long time on my stream. As long as you there, you're fine. And that's what this guy out. This guy comes every single day. He goes to all the Eagles streams and stuff like that. And this guy, let's help get this guy over 50 subs, man. Y'all, his link is the pin comment at the top. Make sure y'all go subscribe to this guy. This guy deserves it. The way he works his ass off, he busts his ass. What's up, Houston Sports Talk? Hey, man, I'm trying to get you on the show, man. Just let me know if you got a Twitter and an Instagram, man. I'm a Houston fan, so we do gotta do this, bro. We do gotta link up, man, and talk Texans and Rockets. We do gotta link up. But like I say, other than that, man, shout out. I want to give a big welcome to the show, my boy Jordy Fighter, man. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be on. I've been waiting for this for a while, and I can't wait to talk some sports.
All right, man. So tell the people where they can follow you from, family.
You can find me at Jordy Fighter. I've got my three podcasts for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the Eagles, and the Celtics, where like I say, we share the depression of the bad moves of our teams. But you can find me there. I'm putting out content at least weekly, so you'll
Mm-hmm.
find me there.
All right. So again, speaking of like what's up Swish? What's up Swish 2K? Y'all got any questions for Jordy Fighter? Football, basketball, he will answer them. Just drop them down now. We will get to the comment. We will answer the questions. He will answer the questions with his honest opinion. So again, that's what I want to get to, man. Like again, I want to go back, take this back to a couple, like not a couple years ago, but like this year and the NBA, and when y'all was in the Eastern Conference Finals competing, and that's the Boston Celtics. I mean, Gordon Hayward breaks his feet. That's the year that y'all get to the NBA Finals. I mean, what you call it has the best year of his career. Isaiah Thomas. Then like I say again, and ever since that year, I mean, it's been almost downhill for uh the Boston Celtics. So this season, who's to blame for this season's struggles? Who's to blame for the Boston Celtics? Because they did have a terrible season. Kemba Walker's been out with inconsistency, some locker room issues. Jason Tatum is that goddamn superstar. Jalen Brown gets hurt. But I want to come to you as a Boston fan. What what happened to this team this year? What happened to this team? Who's to blame for this team?
Yeah, this season was up and down from the get go. It wasn't a season I mean, it was good and bad. It definitely had its moments. I think to blame is not necessarily somebody like a Danny Ainge, because I'd say he was kind of building a foundation around the two pillars of Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum. I'd say part of it's on Stevens, part of it's just they didn't get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you saw them run into the buzzsaw that was the Nets in the first round.
Yep.
And
Yep.
when their three-headed monster plus an inconsistent Joe Harris was on the court, when they clicked, it was game over. But I think I think something that really doesn't get pointed out is the Celtics would contest in three of the four quarters for all but one of those games. That's something that doesn't get
Mm-hmm.
talked about enough. Is they competed until the very end,
Yeah.
and that's something that is good and bad. I think there was just not enough around us to have a good season, but we definitely did what we could, and I mean, this year could look a little brighter.
I mean, like I say again, I thought the Celtics competed pretty much in every game in the playoffs. In that playoff series, I just think, like I say, Brooklyn just a little bit look far better team. You can tell it out there. But the only thing you can ask for these players is, like I say, ever when you get on a football field or NBA court is to compete every time, not lay it down. The Celtics definitely did do that. I mean, Jason Tatum. I want to talk about Jason Tatum, but Jason Tatum raised his game up to another level. And again, that dude came into a superstar. I believe, like I said, he carried this Celtics team when Jalen Brown was out, who was having pretty okay season this year. But Jason Tatum carried this team to the playoffs. That 50-point game against the Washington Wizards was just phenomenal. How did you feel about Jason Tatum? I mean, what was your thoughts on Jason Tatum, that 50-point game against the Wizards, and like I say, how he's grown as a player?
Yeah, and I was high on Tatum coming out of college, even though, I mean, for where I live and everything, I have a natural resentment of Duke,
Okay.
especially Duke basketball, but I was a big fan of Tatum, especially coming into the Celtics, and he's grown very well. He's had the right guys around him to grow.
Hmm.
He's had the right coaches behind him to grow, and seeing him and what he did last year just made me so happy because, I mean, when's the last time you've seen someone like him really do that in Boston? I mean, KG at that spot, that was the last guy to
Yep.
do it.
Yep.
So I'm happy to see Boston get back to kind of what it used to be like, where it's always trying to build a contender. And with what Tatum's doing, he's definitely going to be able to push this team very far with what he can do.
All right, so we got your first question right here up at Penn. You got your first question. How you think the Wizards would do? Do you feel like they'll playoff contending team, or you just feel like they're not good enough?
Um, hmm, good question. I still don't think they have enough to get to the playoffs. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't. I just don't see it. I don't. They got beat by a Celtics team that at one point didn't have Jalen Brown, and last year in the play-in tournament, and I don't think that Celtics squad was doing its best that game either, and
Yep.
I just don't think they have enough to compete with the other big teams.
Hmm.
And ultimately, I think they're going to keep coming up short unless they add more pieces.
Like I said, I agree with you in that situation right there. To answer your question, Swish, I don't believe the Wizards have enough. Traded Russell Westbrook. I mean, like I say, Russell Westbrook had a great. He was having a terrible first half of the season. He turned it on later in the season. But then again, the game against the Celtics, when Jason Tatum dropped that 50 points on you guys, kind of summed it up. What's gonna happen? Like I said, I just think the Wizards need to just go ahead and trade Bradley Beal and just quit playing with him. If I'm Bradley Beal, I'm just asking out. Like I said again, it's clearly, like I say, this team is not. They did their times. They had their years to compete, and it just not working with this organization. Loyalty can take you a long way, and you can ask that to Carmelo when he had a chance to go to Chicago and he decided to stay with the New York Knicks because he got paid. But like I say, for a great player like that, you got to look at your future. You got to make a move. You got to make a move to a championship contender. So I say I just don't. Adding Kuzma, I think that's a pretty okay move because, like I say, I was vouching for Kuzma. I was vouching for Kuzma to move on. I think it was a change of scenery for him. He needed that. Montrezl Harrell hasn't been right since he played with Houston or the Clippers. He hasn't been right, and that was a terrible decision to even lead the Clippers. That was a terrible decision on his end. And like I say, man, I just think the Wizards need to just go ahead and go into the rebuild. I don't think they have enough, man. Like I say, you look at the teams in the East. Um, Chicago is better. They are better. New York Knicks clearly are better. You got a lot of teams that may be. Boston's still going to be better than Washington. They're still going to be better. Philadelphia's still going to be better. You got a lot of teams that's going to basically be better. Indiana's going to be better. The Hornets are going to be better. I mean, I just think it's time to let go of Bradley Beal and quit playing with this guy. How you doing, Miss Natural? You said Beal is so close to 30. Man, Bill is so close to 30, man. He just like I said, I just think it's time for a change of scenery. But anyway, Jordy, like I said again, I mean, when I saw Jason Tatum, bro. Like I said, I immediately thought he was gonna be a star in this league, but to able to carry this team and carry this team to the playoffs, and he had a good series against the Brooklyn Nets. He had a pretty decent series against the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets just too damn strong for this team, and like I say, I thought if Gordon Hayward kind of stay healthy a little bit too when y'all made the Eastern Conference Finals, I thought y'all could have made the NBA Finals. I don't know if with Isaiah Thomas hip injury and stuff like that. But like I say, like Jalen Brown is one of these guys that I like as well. Jalen Brown got hurt, and everybody said when he come out the draft, they didn't think he was gonna get picked that high. Everybody said when he come out the draft, the guy couldn't shoot. But like I said, he improved the way he improved on his shot. That's pretty decent, and I think Brown is pretty good for this organization and the future of this team. I think Jalen Brown and Tatum is the future of this franchise. When Jalen Brown was drafted, what was your first mindset? What did you first say, and how do you feel about Jalen Brown right now as he's emerging into the secondary player behind Jason Tatum?
Well, when we picked Brown, my immediate thoughts were just, well, it's going to be another rebuild or attempted rebuilding process for Mange because we saw them try to kind of do a rebuild retool
Hmm.
after what I call the big three era of the Truth, Paul Pierce, Ray
Okay.
Allen, and Kevin Garnett, and brought in a lot of guys to try to kind of rebuild that a little bit. It worked way better than I thought it would, and then I said, well, we're probably gonna try to rebuild again. And looking back now at the moves that have been made from there to now and how he's progressed, I feel a lot better about him as a player. I didn't know what to expect because, like you said, when he came out of that draft, they said he's not a great shooter, and look how much
Yeah.
he's progressed.
Yeah.
And that just makes me excited for the guys we have now and how can they progress, especially with someone like a Brown on the roster, because he's been there and done that. So it's from then to now, my opinion on him's changed a little bit,
Okay.
but I still like having him here. I love it. It's awesome.
Oh, I definitely agree, man. I think this dude is talented. He's also a great defender as well, man. Not just a great, he evolved into a great shooter. He evolved into a great defender as well, man. He's got great athleticism, can put the ball on the floor. And like I say, I still like the Celtics team to make the playoffs this year. But coaching change about Brad Stevens, coaching change. How do you feel about the new coach, Ime Udoka? You know he won championships in San Antonio, played with Greg Popovich. He also was assistant coach for Greg Popovich, and also he's assistant for Team USA, who's by the way it got their shit together and they in the gold medal championship game now. Congratulations to them. How do you feel about that coaching hire? How did you feel about
I like the hire because not only did Greg Popovich come out and say some good things about him and give him some praise, which if Popovich says something, you listen.
it? Hmm.
Not only that, I've heard a lot of good things about him from the staff, from Brad Stevens, from the players, and he brings kind of a mentality of he can be like all buddy buddy. He can be like a Brad Stevens where he's more like your friend and your coach, but he can also be like loud and on you about stuff. He can flip in an instant,
Okay.
and that's something we really didn't get with Stevens, and I'm excited for that because he's got a good way of coaching that Stevens didn't necessarily have,
Yeah.
and not only that, he's got a good connection with Jason Tatum, who's playing on the USA team right now. So they're kind of forming an early connection there. But
Okay.
he's known second year guard Peyton Pritchard for years, and there's a very good
Yeah.
connection there.
That's a very good player too, though. That's a good player.
Yeah, and that made me. I was already excited for Pritchard coming out of the draft, but this makes me confident he can develop with Ime there.
Okay, okay. Like I said, I like the move as well, but I love Peyton Pritchard as a player, man. I sure hate he got hurt this coming season, but did he play in the playoffs? Peyton Pritchard did come back and play, right? If I'm not
Um,
mistaken.
He did get. I think he did get some play late in the regular season and a little bit in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. about to sit after this, we gonna go into the offseason moves, but like the center position, it was a little bit of inconsistency in the center position between. It just didn't seem like it seemed like somehow Brad Stevens was kind of confused. 1 minute Robert Woods is starting, 1 minute Tristan Thompson was starting. 1 minute Robert Woods is not getting those minutes. 1 minute Tristan Thompson is getting a lot of minutes. I think that shouldn't be getting any more minutes. I think Robert Woods should be getting most of the minutes. I like Robert Woods coming out of N&M, a rim protector that can block shots, that can play above the rim. Tristan Thompson, I do not like him as a player, to be honest. I know he gives a good. He the only thing he gives a good amount of rebounding on the edge, but again, it was seen kind of like Brad Stevens was flip flopping throughout the whole season between Robert Williams and Tristan Thompson. What did you think about that? What did you think about the rotations as you go down the as you was going down the stretch in some of those games? Uh, Him rotating Robert Woods and Tristan Thompson. What did you think about that?
Down the stretch, it was kind of confusing, and there were some moments
Yeah.
where it's like, what are you doing? And I wanted to give Robert Williams a lot more time.
Mm-hmm.
And in certain situations, I get it, but in certain situations, you got to give him that time. And not only
Yeah.
that, Grant Williams, who is a forward center combo, I wanted to give
Mm-hmm.
him some minutes at center.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I like him.
you Taco Fall, I also want to give some minutes. Taco Fall, I
Yeah.
think's got a great upside, high ceiling, and they just stuck with those two mainly. And I was like, well, if you're going to stick with Tristan and Robert Williams, you may as well start Williams and keep
Yeah.
Thompson on the back burner. But they didn't.
Yeah. I mean, so the offseason moves we gonna go to trade Kemba Walker to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who's now with the who's got a buyout, is now with a playoff potential team now in the New York Knicks. You trade Tristan Thompson to Atlanta. So how do you feel about the offseason? How do you feel about those moves that you guys made?
Um, I liked the Walker deal, and
Mm-hmm.
because his knees are going to be gone within the next year if they're not already. And
Okay.
that was the big problem when he was in Boston was can he stay healthy? And his
Okay.
numbers weren't exactly prime Kemba anymore.
Yeah.
But when we moved him, I said, "Yeah, this is nice because we did deal our first round pick this year,
Okay.
which yeah, that sucked, but we ended up getting Moses Brown, Al Horford, and a future pick. Moses Brown was later used in a deal for Josh Richardson, which I face palmed as soon as I saw that, but that's another story. And
Yeah.
I
Good.
think the big reason Al came back was contract. I think there's no way you deal Kemba unless you take Horford's contract, and that's what I've said since day one. But that deal, I think, definitely did help get rid of the Kemba's contract and helped open up the point guard spot. And then the Tristan deal, I was happy about because it was a three-team trade, and we received back Chris Dunn and what was it, Fernando from
Fernando, yeah. From Atlanta, from Nando.
from
Fernando,
Atlanta.
yeah. Bruno Fernando, that's who y'all received back.
Yeah, and I was like, well, Fernando, I liked Moses Brown because of he had a good upside, but I will take Fernando for now. And Chris Dunn, he can bring some defense on the wing, and we didn't need another shooter at guard.
Okay.
So I'm glad we brought in somebody who can do something other than shoot.
hmm Anyway, yeah, basketball kid. Just hit me up on Instagram and Twitter, bro. Just hit me up on that. At Coach Dante 31 on both of them. And we can talk about a collab, man. I've been trying to get y'all. Been trying to get y'all, man. I gotta be telling y'all, just hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. No, Coach Dante 31. Coach Dante 31. Spell it the same way as my YouTube channel, Coach Dante 31 on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure y'all sub up to my boy Jordy Fighter, man. His link, it's the pinned comment at the top. Make sure y'all show some love to my boy Jordy Fighter, man. He puts out the great work and the great content out there, man. So make sure y'all show him some love. So anyway, again, Brad Stevens goes to the front office now. He moves from coaching in the front office. Any reason why did you think he did that move?
Well, Honestly, from what I'm hearing, he wanted something new. He wanted something that was a challenge. I don't think that was necessarily the reason. I think there's something
Yeah,
else that
I think it was something else behind it.
I think there's something else behind closed doors that made him go up
Yeah,
to the office that he won't say for now. I don't think we're going to hear it for a while.
yeah,
But I mean, if he's up there and he's eager to face the challenge like he was in coaching, I'm excited. And he's got
yeah.
the experience of being a former coach.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, of course, of course. So you see, how about I'm gonna talk. I wanted you to you. I mean, like I say again, you're a Boston fan, so you know more about Boston than I do. When I watch him on the court, but like you know about the players that's on his team. So Aaron Neesmith supposed to have been the best shooter in the draft. Do you see him being a part of Boston's future, or is he gone, or is he trade going to be? Is he out? I mean, I don't know if he's still on the team, but Aaron Neesmith, do you think he? Do you think what do he struggle? What's his struggles? What's his weakness? What's his strong suits? What do you think about Aaron Neesmith?
I wasn't necessarily high on Naismith coming out of the draft. I didn't know what to
Hmm.
think, but from what I've heard, he's coming in with a little bit more confidence. He had another year to
Yeah,
grow. I think he can definitely be in this team's future plans. He's been working to perfect his shooting, which I mean, that would be great because if you've got a small forward that can shoot alongside Tatum,
yeah.
that could fill Hayward's the void Hayward left that still hasn't been filled. But I honestly like the pick looking back because we don't have anybody at small forward, and
Yeah.
I think if you put this kid in the right position, he's the future.
Okay. All right. So, Al Horford, y'all got him back. How you feel about that?
I don't like it from a contract standpoint, but that's the only real standpoint I don't like it from. That and his age. He is coming back. He didn't necessarily have his best or his worst seasons after leaving Boston, and he knows most of the guys. He knows some of the staff. He kind of knows some of the general routine. So that's definitely going to be an advantage for him. And I think he might be one of the couple guys that would have been a good decision for guys like Robert Williams to learn behind.
All right. Okay. So, like I say, Al Horford, man, it's a okay veteran, but I'll say again, you said he, like you said, I'm gonna go with you. He knows the organization. He knows everything, and he's been a part of those championship West Eastern Conference championship teams. So again, I'm gonna get Notre Dame. They made the college football playoff last year, and every time they play the college, they go to the playoff or go to a national championship. They always seems to get outmatched. Why is that from Notre Dame? Why do they always seem? What was the reason why Notre Dame got punched in the mouth? What's the reason? Give me why is always they outmatch every time in a big game? Well,
It's funny. Usually, I'm not usually asked this question. Surprisingly, I, usually I'm like, can somebody ask me this? Because
yeah,
I like
hey,
talking about this.
trust me, I pay attention to everything. In Notre Dame, they all last time they win the national championship against, I believe that was Alabama when they the last time they ever played the national championship, they were outmatched. They play Alabama again, and they're still outmatched. So in a big game, why is Alabama Jordy Fighter, my boy? Why is they always outmatched every time in the big game? Why is they always outmatched? You
When
take the
it
floor.
when it comes to playing Alabama, and this I'm just speaking against Alabama at this moment.
Hmm.
Bama outmatches almost everybody,
Yeah.
and Notre Dame's just unfortunate to always end up against them for some reason. We've had our fair share of close games, like the 2012 game against Bama, where we lost
Hmm.
on an extra or on a 2 point conversion. But honestly, I don't. If you put a lot of other teams in our situation, they're going to get destroyed just as bad,
Yeah.
if not worse.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it before. So, in terms of playing Bama, it shouldn't be surprising. But Notre Dame in general, big games.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
part of it's because they've for a while been more developmental. They get three low 4-star guys like an Ian Book, like an Owusu
Hmm.
Koromoa, and then they develop and grow and blossom. As to where now you've seen the new defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman. come in, and he's done great with recruiting. All of a sudden, we've got multiple 4-star linebackers, a couple 4-stars on the defense, and recruiting's gotten better, and that's going to reflect on the field. And I think that's really part of the way to closing the gap towards Alabama and Clemson and those other big teams is recruiting, and that's something Notre Dame just they haven't recruited high.
Yeah, like I said, man, they always seem to get outmatched in the big stages of the situation. What's good, my brother? Highlights, how you doing today, man? What's good, Bird man in the building? What's up? What's the motherfucking deal, y'all? Hey, basketball kid, text me on Twitter. Text me, DM me right now. DM me right now. We can set something up and let me know when you're ready. For if we want to go today, we can definitely do it later. But big shout out to everybody. Make sure y'all sub up to my boy again, Jordy Fighter, man. His link is the pinned comment. He knows the sports. Like I say, it's a great podcast so far. Again, I mean Texas. Right now, I'm a big Texas fan. We move into the SEC, which is that's basically the toughest conference in football. And like I say again, you're right. When you go against Alabama, that's pretty much the number one team in the country every single season, man. And they outmatch anybody just like they did this year. And I mean, how do you feel about Ian Book? Like, do you see him being a starting quarterback anytime soon? By the you watch Ian Book, so you're a Notre Dame, you're a Notre Dame fan. So by anybody, the Saints fans, because I got a close friend, she's a Saints fan. Give me more elaboration on Ian Book. Do you see him being a starting quarterback anytime soon in this league? What's his strengths? What's his weaknesses? Uh, I'll say, give me more feeling of Ian Book. Then do you see him succeeding in the league?
I think definitely if put in the right situation, he can succeed. He did very well in Notre Dame. He was a big scrambler. He had a good presence in the pocket where he could get out quick, and
Yeah,
he was somebody where he would scramble and he'd throw 20, 30 on the run. And the only thing that worries me about him going into the NFL is you're going to have defenses running a lot of contains, and if you contain him in the pocket, that's his
yeah.
weakness. But when at his best, he's very good, but I don't see him starting his first or his second year. I don't think he's there yet.
All right. What up, Krabby? What up? It's better, Birdman. My mic better now. My mic better. Let me know something. All right. Like I say, I'm asking you because you know about Ian Book. You know about him. You know his strength and his weaknesses. Like I say, anybody, how you feel about coach? How you feel about the coach? Do you think he's going to be the right coach for Notre Dame? For Notre Dame in the long term, and how you feel about this team overall going into this season. This season, how do you feel about it? Do you still think y'all can maintain that college football playoff mentality, or do you see y'all having a breakdown year? Or how do you see this team? How do you feel about this team coming into this year?
Um, Starting off with Brian Kelly, I don't. I really like him as a coach. When he wants to, he can get loud and aggressive, and he's someone who will really tell you like it is. He's very blunt, and after he came in, Notre Dame's had a lot of success, whether that be from a recruiting standpoint or a playing standpoint. I mean, going from Charlie Weiss to Brian Kelly was a big improvement. Brian Kelly is .675 with 81 wins and 39 losses in his career at Notre Dame. And he's done very well, especially after getting off the ground after those first few years. But
Okay.
looking at the overall team this year, I think it's only regressed in maybe two or three positions and not by much. But I don't necessarily think this is a team that anyone should expect to go into the college football playoff and do very much. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a fringe college football playoff team again, if not maybe a 5 or a 6 on the college football playoff polls. But next year, with the recruiting class they have and the guys they have in place, if that recruiting class mostly sticks together and you see Kyron Williams and Chris Tyree take another step in the backfield and you see the receivers take a next step and they figure out the quarterback situation, this will be a nasty team next year.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I love that. I love that. So, NBA, give me your winners of free agency. Give me a couple of winners that you thought won free agency.
Hmm. Actually, that's kind of tough. I can tell you losers, but
Oh yeah, if you want to tell me losers, tell me losers. Tell me some losers.
I will say though the Knicks did win in free agency. They
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
won in
That
free
that you
agency.
got you stole my pick. You stole what I had. You stole what I had. Yep, they
Knicks
won a
did win, and then well, Lakers lost, and I'd honestly argue that maybe the 76ers could have lost in free agency.
Yeah, I had. See, like I got winners is I like I said, I put the Lakers as a winner because they probably don't have no shooting depth at this point of time. Kendrick Nunn, but I got him as a legit as a winner, not by much, but I got the Knicks and the Bulls as a winner of free agency. That Bulls roster looks good. That Bulls roster looks nice, man. Getting DeMar DeRozan, a veteran, is a great step up, and adding Alonzo Ball is pretty good. Then they got Nick Vucevic out there as small forward, as center. I mean, a center slash small power forward who's an all star center. And the Knicks, maybe Kemba Walker can rejuvenate. They was at they actually brought some of their player their roster back, so they pretty much have the same familiarity of the roster. And the 76ers, they haven't done much. They have not done much. They have not done too much to address their bench, address the shooting too much. But George Yang is okay. He's an okay player, but he hasn't got minutes. He hasn't got consistent minutes. Maybe this will be the time he gets some of those minutes. They get Andre Drummond, who's 27. He's okay. Yeah, they made some okay moves, but not enough to win free agency for me. They talk about trading Tobias Harris. He's on the trade block because the Rockets turned down a trade offer with him in the package. Seth Curry's on the trade block. Danny Green is coming back, but I don't feel like the Sixers did enough. Do you feel like a lot? I'm hearing a lot of people saying Ben Simmons. I'm hearing that organization saying Ben Simmons might stay. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like Ben Simmons was the problem for the Sixers? How do you feel about that when they saying he might stay?
I think he was definitely a problem because you saw his confidence just sharply decline as the season went on.
Yeah,
And we saw that in the last Hawks game where he had an open dunk over Trey Young, tried to pass it out to Tyrese Maxey in double coverage or
uh huh,
with two guys on him, and then the ball it didn't work.
yeah,
And he was a problem, and he was one of the bigger problems, but he wasn't the only problem. I
yeah,
mean, you saw Tobias Harris at times would push guys to their strong side like Pat Beverly, and that would lead to
yep,
scores. Court Maz at times was getting confused in the Atlanta playoff, in
yep,
those playoff games where he wouldn't know his assignments or he'd just mess up.
yep,
And I mean, at times their offense was just one dimensional because it'd be
yep,
Ben Simmons walk up the court, cross half court, and then give it to Seth or well, whoever was at one of the forwards.
yeah,
That was it. He wouldn't really look to Embiid. He wouldn't look to whoever was at small forward. I think he was going to. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly, but I know he wasn't really passing the ball around, and he
hmm.
didn't take shots
Oh yeah,
when he did
yeah,
have the ball. That was his
yeah,
problem. There was times where he's on the arc. He's got maybe 1 to 2 steps of separation, and I'm like, if you got that much separation, you should try to take that once or twice.
yep. Yep, I definitely agree. I definitely agree on that, man. Like I said, like you said, the rotations for the Sixers. I didn't like their rotation. I'm doing good, JDW. How you doing, man? Make sure you sub up to my boy Jordy Fighter, man. His link is at the pin comment, man. He deserves to have more than 50 subs. Great person to collab with. He's a great person, man, and he deserves it, man. So big shout out to Jordy Fighter for coming on today, man. Anybody that knows ball that want to collab, just hit me up. But anyway, everybody know And I heard someone say, I think Simone said in our podcast that the bench was constantly the problem of this team, but everybody know that Ben Simmons was the problem of this team as well. Like you're playing 5-on-4 basketball out there every single time. Uh, Maybe another position, a small four, a power forward position will be okay with Ben Simmons. That way we ain't gotta. That way, I mean, like I said, he can just grab rebounds and play differently. But him bringing the ball, being a full on point guard, you're playing 5-on-4 basketball out there. Um, every time a B will get the ball in the post, who man come off of them just to double him, his guy. They know he's not an impact player, and I feel like, I mean, 76ers had more ball movement on the floor when they had Maxey and Shea Milton playing. They had more ball movement. They looked straight. They made shots. Think about that game 6 against Atlanta. I mean, Tobias Harris gets him back in the game. Shea Milton is in the game. And Tyrese Maxey is in the game in the fourth quarter. Tyrese Maxey made some hell of a plays, hell of a shots. Ben Simmons on the bench. It seemed like more ball movement was getting within the offense, and Joel Embiid was able to feed off that. And then game 7, like you said, he passed out a double team. Trae Young struggling the whole game. He goes to the rim. He passes out. He has a wide open dunk. You're 6'10". You have a 6'3" guard. You have a 6'3", 6'3", 6'4" guard, Kevin Herter, jumping. He has a wide open dunk. He gives it to Matisse Thybulle. Matisse Thybulle, what he does? Miss 1 out of 2. He makes 1 out of 2. Next play, Trae Young come down now. He puts a crossover on Thybulle. He hits a shot. He hits a three-pointer that pretty much put away the game. And everybody sees it. Everybody sees that Ben Simmons. Nobody's taking Ben Simmons seriously as a threat. And now, I mean, I'm hearing he's getting disgruntled. He's getting disgruntled in the organization. Now he's trying to force a trade out, but everybody sees that, Jordy. Everybody sees that Ben Simmons is the problem of this team. And like, do you what do you think? What do you think the Sixers need to like? Do you feel like the trade? I feel like the trade offer is high for Ben Simmons. That's why he's not traded, because he has no value right now at this time. But how do you feel about them saying, "Oh, we may keep him in the building," but most of that, to me, the reason why they may keep him with the Sixers because his trade value is too. The trade that they asking for is too high. He doesn't have any value. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, and that's definitely the big reason they're keeping him there, even if they won't say it, is his value's gone.
Yes, of course.
Because when you put the ball in his hands, he's not going to do much.
Yes,
If you
of
put him
course.
in more of a role he would fit in, like a small forward, power forward, he's going to do a lot. His value may even go up a little bit, and he's going to do a lot better than what he would do at point guard because he's not
Yeah,
built to handle it.
yeah,
And I
of
mean,
course.
what was the trade that I forget exactly what it was? Oh, I got to
I
hear it.
mean, it was 4. They wanted a James Harden package, 4 first round picks and a young player. You're not gonna get that for Ben Simmons, a guy that averaged over 14 points per game, 10 points in the playoffs, a guy that won't shoot. Like I say again, everybody's saying they think he can shoot, and he won't shoot. I don't think he can actually shoot because he shoots 53% from the free throw line. He shoots 53%, so I don't think he can actually shoot. And in this league, give me one thing. I tell people this all the time. One thing you do, Mr. Jordy, to stay in this league, you can just do one thing and you can stay in this league for good. What is that?
Shoot.
Shooting. Thank you. You shoot. If you get Dirk Nowitzki stayed in the league, cause what? He can shoot. Vince Carter stayed in the league, cause what? He can shoot the ball. So if Steve Nash in the league, he can shoot. Jason Kidd improved his shooting. That's why he won a championship in this league. So if you can just do that alone, like I say again, you can stay in this league a long time. And right now, Ben Simmons can't even do that. He can't shoot. You cannot make an impact on the floor if you don't have some type of shot or if you don't shoot just to keep the defense honest. You will not be in this best. You will not be in here too long. And just like Markel Fultz, he used to do everything in college. He used to could shoot and everything. He used to have a great form. I don't know what the hell happened on earth happened to him. But like I say, again, you can stay in this league a long time if you can shoot the basketball, and that's something Ben Simmons can't do. And right now, he does not have any value, so that's why they can't get him out of the off the building, off the Bulls. They can't get him out of there. He doesn't have any trade value like that. So, about the long as the Sixers keep having that same thought that, hey, I want a James Harden package deal for this guy. I mean, this guy's gonna stay in the building. Nobody won't budge. Nobody won't everybody will hang up the phone. So again, everybody's seeing clearly Ben Simmons was the problem of this team, and this team not gonna work. This team is not gonna work. So give me a perfect fit around Joel Embiid. Give me a perfect fit around Joel Embiid. If the Ben Simmons trade was to go down, give me a perfect fit. Give me a perfect point. Elaborate a perfect point guard for the Sixers fans that you think that will work out.
Well, looking at a point guard that they would have been able to kind of use, at least in the short term, alongside Embiid, would have been someone like Conley, who he can do
Okay.
a little bit with his shooting, but he can also pass. And I mean, that was somebody I said I even would consider for the Celtics because we need somebody in the short term. And
Yeah.
they didn't do that. There's some playmakers on the market, but some of them are on the trade block, and the Sixers don't. They're not going to give up their youth for one playmaker. They're not. And with what they've got, no, and even if they wanted to get rid of Simmons, that contract is not helping them in the slightest either.
Yes. Yes. Of course. Of course. I mean, everybody see this guy don't have the value. His value completely dipped. But I said again, man. Again, uh, we're gonna get to the Philadelphia Eagles. So again, give me we're gonna play the blame game one more time again. From last year's struggles, Carson Wentz, unacceptable performance. How he was a diva in the locker room, and how the guy just performed last year. Ever since that Washington football team game, and I say ever since the Super Bowl, I feel like Carson Wentz thought he had a chip on his shoulder ever since he seen Nick Foles hold up the trophy and won basically the MVP right there in front of him. And the questionable play calling by Doug Peterson taking Miles Sanders out of the game pretty much. A $10 million guy gets on the field when Travis Fulgham busting his ass and having a great season. Travis Fulgham pretty much broke his confidence too pretty much. It just seemed like Doug Peterson just gave a big fuck you to everybody and just got fired. So who would you put out? Who would you call out in this blame scenario for the 4-12 season last year?
Well, it was a little bit of everything, and I say this all the time. A little bit on Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator, for horrible
Oh hell
scheming,
yeah.
and no, he didn't disguise anything. Doug Peterson didn't help at all. He would run the ball in the first and maybe even some of the second quarter, and if it didn't work, he just said, "You know what? Stop running the ball. We're going to pass for the rest of the game." And then when he did run, it wasn't Sanders. And then Wentz, he definitely didn't perform to where he should have. And I mean, Roseman didn't do a great job even the season before that with putting guys around Wentz to help him perform. But it's a little bit of everything. Everybody's at fault for last season.
Hmm. Definitely agree with you. And also, you can't leave this out of the question. What's up, my boy Nate? What's up, man? Make sure y'all check out my boy Jordy Fighter, man. His link is the pinned comment, man. Y'all check out my boy Jordy Fighter. Go check him out. Great person to talk sports with. Great person, man. Y'all go check out my boy Jordy Fighter. And also, you got to put this in consideration. The Philadelphia Eagles didn't draft well the last 2 years. They didn't draft well. They don't actually draft. They don't draft well, and Philadelphia Eagles don't draft well. Got to think about the receiver they missed out on, Jefferson, who had a breakout season. And then also Going up there and get Devontae Smith was pretty decent, pretty great. I love Devontae Smith. I think he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. I think he's going to play great this year. I think he's going to be the rookie of the year and the offensive rookie of the year. I see some special things for this guy. Great route running, great hands, even though he's injured. Um, Again, man. So like I say, the defensive scheme last year that Jim Schwartz was making, Jim Schwartz had was terrible. It was absolute dog shit. He didn't make no adjustments whatsoever to anything going on. Doug Peterson took I mean, Alshon Jeffrey, I understand you put him in because he's making more money, but Fulgham is out there playing great. Why would you switch that to break the man confidence just because of a guy making $10 million and you have Fulgham out there performing the whole performing, but you put Alshon Jeffrey in who's been hurt, who hasn't been on the field. You put him in just because he's making $10 million. That's crazy. And the offensive play calling was terrible at times. We didn't neutralize the run a lot. And again, if like, you don't want to never go into a game to be one dimensional. You want to all, even though if the running game is not working, you always want to kind of be balanced out. Because that run opens up the play actions and opens up. It makes it more easier to shred the defense. Doug Peterson was nothing but one dimensional. The whole everybody knew this guy was throwing the ball every single play. Everybody knew he was throwing the ball. And Carson Wentz always tried to be a hero type of player. Throwing the ball up the field, throwing the ball in double coverage. Every time pressure comes in his face, he goes 10 yards back. He fumbles the ball. He leans fucking forward all the time. And it was a complete mess. So again, give me Howie Roseman. I mean, doesn't have the best of drafts, but do you put some of this owner on Howie Roseman? Do you put some of this owner on Howie Roseman as well?
Um, I think some of the drafting is definitely Howie's fault because
Yeah.
it's been questionable picks that won't necessarily completely fit the offense, or he's passed up on guys that it was a consensus that they should have been picked there.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think there was at least slight owner interference,
Yeah.
and we'll never know until after Roseman's gone, and maybe even we'll have to wait till after Lurie's not owner anymore either, which
Mm-hmm.
ain't gonna happen for a while. But still, I don't fully blame Howie, but I blame him for at least most of it.
Yeah. So, do you think he's on the hot seat if he doesn't have a good seat? Do you think he's on the hot seat?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. All right. Give me a breakout player that you think that will break out this year.
Now, this has been somebody. Now, I have grown more to kind of like Zach McPherson, but
Okay.
I'm going to have to go Elijah Holyfield, and
Ooh. Okay. Georgia.
he's
Okay.
someone I've been high on for a while now. And with the emergence of two back sets being more prominent in the offense, I really think he can land on the roster, especially depending on what's going on with Kerryon Johnson, because we don't know about that. We've heard nothing about any of them from camp. So who knows which way this roster could go. But I think if he makes it, he's definitely a candidate for breakout because he's going to have to come in with a mindset of these guys haven't given me any time, and now's my time to shine.
Okay. I'm telling y'all, man, big shout out, man, to the eight people in the stream, man. Y'all been great all stream today, man. Supporting me and my boy Jordy Fighter, man. Make sure y'all go sub up to my boy Jordy Fighter if you haven't already. His link is the pin comment at the chat, man. He works hard. He definitely deserves to be added and be hit it up, man. So y'all go check out my boy Jordy Fighter. His link in the comment section, man. Not in the comments at the pin comment. But anyway, my breakout player of the year, like I say, I got Devontae Smith, but I will go with Jalen Hurts. Like I said, I believe Jalen Hurts will be he will prove people wrong. I know it's a lot of trade shenanigans going on. I know it's a lot of trade shenanigans going on right now, and everybody keep having these reports. It's heating up. It's heating up. It's in and out. But Jalen Hurts can play this game of football. I mean, he comes in immediately and beats the number one defense. He beats the number one defense. He goes to Arizona. He gets into a shootout with Kyler Murray. The guy wins a Big 12 championship. He wins a Big 12 championship. He comes second place in the Heisman. So, like I say, again, Jalen Hurts is gonna break out this year. He's gonna prove a lot of people wrong that he's our quarterback. He's worthy to be on this team, man. This guy could play. I mean, 260 pounds. Who do you know? What quarterback do you know can lift to 260 pounds? I mean, come on now. That's just crazy. And he's going to be a big part of this running game. The only thing he needs to improve on more is consistency throwing the football in the pocket. That's his questions coming into the draft. And that's the reason why kind of Nick Saban took him out against Georgia, because his inconsistency to make those big plays and Tua to come in to make those big plays, and they end up coming and winning the game. What do you think about Jalen Hurts? How do you feel about that? So how do you feel about
I've never necessarily been 100% on the Hurts train, but
it? Yeah.
I'm confident in what he can do. He's definitely a good all around quarterback. He can hurt you with a little bit of everything, although his accuracy is a slight question. But that's usual for most scrambling quarterbacks. Is you'll usually see they're mobile, they have a good arm, but they're inaccurate,
Yeah.
and he's no different. I just think it's going to come down to what can you do with this receiver core and who is going to break out this year within them. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a possibility for any one of those guys to go off.
Yeah. Miles Sanders definitely is going to have a great season. I feel it in Miles Sanders. The coaching staff is very, very good, man. I love this coaching staff. I love how they teach. I love how they motivate players. They hold guys accountable. Miles Sanders is going to have a great season this year. I got him over 1,200 yards and about 12 touchdowns. Um, Everybody seen that last year how good Miles Sanders was when he did carry the football. I just thought he was taken away from because of Doug Peterson stopped giving him the football. And it was a complete mess. You can see some frustration in Miles Sanders' face every time he goes out. Every time he goes out for a route and Carson Wentz doesn't hit him on time, or the ball will always be low. What you think? Do you see a breakout season for Miles Sanders? How you feel about Miles Sanders?
Um, I think he'll definitely have a better year than last year, especially if he gets more carries and with this running back committee. But it also depends on who's on it because realistically, nobody besides him and Gainwell are safe. But
Okay.
I'm confident in what he can do. He's definitely showed he can be a great top 10, maybe even top 5 back in the league. And I think this year is his year that he comes in with a chip on his shoulder with something to prove and does it.
I love that statement. So you're saying that Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell are safe. Who else do you see the Eagles taking? Who carrying? Who else do you see the Eagles taking?
Now, with going with 2 running back sets a lot more, I see us running with 5. And I can
Okay.
see the third one being Elijah Holyfield, the fourth being Adrian Killings for special teams and things like that. Because why
Okay.
give him that 2-year tender and then not do anything and then just cut him? And then I think the fifth's a toss up between probably Carry On and Boston Scott.
Okay.
And when it comes to it, I just want to see what Scott can do. I want to see if he can
Okay.
take the next step.
Because he did perform well in that playoff year against the New York Giants that last game of the season. Pretty much put him in the playoffs. He did perform well in that game. I was literally watching that game. But like I say, Carry On, I'm high on Carry On making this football team. High on him making this football team. Uh, Everybody high on Adrian Killings. Love me some Adrian Killings, but Kenneth Gainwell and Miles Sanders they're definitely gonna them two guys are definitely gonna make the team. And I mean also I got Kerryon Johnson is gonna make the team. And Adrian Killins. I love Adrian Killins and Boston Scott. I really like him too, man. So like I said, this is a tough running back room. This is a tough thing to judge right here, the running back situation. But give me a couple of guys that you may see on the bubble. How about JJ Ortega Whiteside? Do you see him surviving and making his team? Or do you think it's less opportunities? He didn't have enough opportunity. But how do you see him making? Do you see him making his roster?
Yes, and we've heard a bit about him that he's kind of coming in. He's at least giving some performance, and I think if he continues his performance and it continues in the preseason where he's doing good, I think that sets him up to be on the inside of the bubble, on the inside, looking at the guys who are on the outside. He's gonna scrape by, but still, I think he definitely can make it. He's been another guy I've been very high on, and ultimately, I think if it comes down to it, he does.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, if he is cut, like I say, I hope he goes somewhere else and shine because again, I don't think he had the opportunities with Doug Peterson evidently, and that might come through to hurt him a little bit. I really don't think he had the opportunities to show what he can do. And like I say, again, we all talked about this on JC channel as well. If like I say, if you haven't had the opportunities to show what you can do, and you go to another team you can question the coaching about developing a player by not giving this guy any opportunities. And that question the coaching staff about not knowing how to use this guy. And I definitely think he deserves to make the team if he's out there performing. But this receiving core, like, I mean, how do you feel about the receiving core? Do you feel that the receiving core is going to be straight this year? Is going to be good? I know Devontae Smith is going to be good. I'm really high on Devontae Smith. Again, he's going to be my offensive rookie and rookie of the year. But how do you feel about Rager, Fogum, Greg Ward? How you feel? Do you think this receiving core is going to be successful this year?
I think it can be successful. I think it can be good. I wouldn't say it's great. It's unpredictable, but it also is inexperienced, and you don't know what you're going to get. And ultimately, that is a positive and a negative.
Mm-hmm.
And only time will tell what these guys can do. And ultimately, I think the new scheming is definitely going to help out everybody, not even just the receivers, but everybody. And that may be a key to for a key of their success this year is the new scheming and better scheming and a lot of changes to the playbook.
Yeah, that can be dangerous too, man, as well. Like, I mean, going into a game and nobody's game planning for none of these receivers, you got actually no number one threat. Everybody's basically just a number one threat. Everybody can just go out for any given time. That's a reason why. That's a good reason why these receivers is kind of unproven because you don't know what you're getting out of them. One game that Devontae Smith can be hurting you. Next game they can game plan for Devontae Smith. Then Fogan can come out and tax you. Rager, you seen the catch he made over Darius Slay. He can that guy can come out and get you. But again, the Zach Ertz situation. Do you see Zach Ertz on this team the whole year?
Um, yeah, I think it's possible that how he just says, "Here's your last hurrah in Philly," and then you can walk and do whatever you want as a sign of respect to the guy for what he's done for Philly.
Yeah,
He could another big thing that I think is going to happen now is he's going to at least stay till the deadline because if they wanted him gone, he'd be gone by now.
yeah,
And ultimately, I think I'd be fine with him staying the full year if him and Goddard share snaps at the one or Earth takes a background role. As long as he can do that, I'd be happy with him here for one last hurrah.
okay, okay. Uh, so the defense. We gonna go to the defensive side of the ball. Give me a person that you feel that you think that's gonna break out on the defensive side of the ball, and give me a person that's under the most pressure this year.
The guy under the most pressure has got to be Barnett.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he doesn't succeed, he's got guys waiting to take his spot, and he's gone. Because he definitely doesn't deserve that 10 million fifth-year option. He should be gone right now. But I mean,
Yeah,
I've always been one for trading Dillard or not Dillard Barnett. I've never been high on him, and I mean he did good that 2017 that was the team that went to the Super Bowl. But what has he done since then? Nothing.
nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's been absent since then. He's been absent since then. I agree with you on the Derek Barnett situation. I mean, Josh Sweat is just a man amongst boys at practice right now. He's just killing it in training camp right now. Quez Watkins also is making some great plays. And give me the person that you think that's gonna break out on the defensive side of the ball.
I gotta go with McPherson because you don't know what to expect from him. He's gonna play a backup corner role where he's gonna be rotated in and out, and we've heard a lot of good things so far from him in camp, and that's very reassuring for him. I mean, for where we got him, that's very good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. Again, I got Darius Slay. I think Darius Slay is due for a breakout season. Last year, most of that wasn't Darius Slay fault because of the terrible defensive scheme that Jim Schwartz was playing, and like I say, I mean, Jim Schwartz absolutely made no adjustments at all. He made no defensive adjustments. Didn't have no idea how to stop anything, how to adjust to anything that was going down. But the only thing I hold Darius Slay accountable for, I don't want to see this guy on the number two cornerbacks. I want to see this guy on the number one, on guarding the number one receivers all the time. I want to see this guy in someone's face, at least trying to stop him every single time. Like at Pittsburgh, I want to see this guy. Chase Claypool is going crazy. I want Darius Slay to go over there and say, "Hey man, I want him. I want him. Just give me him, and I can find a way to keep him covered." But like I say, you have to do what your coach is told. You have to run the scheme that they kind of want you to want you to run, and you don't want to ever get into an argument or go against the coach on anything. But sometimes, as a leader, you gotta be able to call it out. You gotta be able to call it out and let them know, man. Hey, I want to guard that number one cornerback over there that's killing us. So anyway, the defensive line, Ryan Kerrigan, who I thought is an underrated signing. He's going to be good, veteran leadership who can still put pressure on that quarterback. You got Fletcher Cox, you got Josh Sweat who's killing it in training camp. You got Barnett over there. And like, how do you feel about this defensive line? How do you feel about this defensive line?
I'm very confident with this defensive line. I definitely think this is going to be another year of dominance from Philly in terms of defensive line. And moving on from Jim Schwartz is going to make that 10 times better because his scheme did not help the defensive line whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you look at what they had to get to the quarterback quick because the quarterback would dump the ball off
yeah,
to a short route because you had corners playing 10 yards off. You had one safety deep, you had one safety in the box, and you had one linebacker who couldn't cover, who was a former safety who I think was in the wrong scheme in the wrong place in the wrong
yeah.
position. And you had Alex Singleton who yeah, he could cover, but he's not going to cover receivers if as effectively as he is going to be like a tight end. He's not.
Yeah, yeah. I always preach this. Another thing, Jordy, as if your if your D line is getting pressure on the quarterback, that's kind of protecting the secondary. That's making the secondary look good. But what if you're not getting pressure? Again, we didn't blitz a lot last year, so it's a possibility that by not blitzing, the quarterback had time in the pocket and the secondary is not going to hold. So, like you said, you had they didn't have opportunity to get to the quarterback because the quarterback is always dinking and dumping and always finding an open receiver, and the quarterback always getting the ball out of his hands. But ain't that's what we are all scared of. It's when our defensive line is not getting no pressure on the quarterback, and the quarterback is sitting there in the pocket. Why can this secondary cannot hold up if any type of quarterback is not getting pressured? I mean, do you feel like the secondary, who's made all these communications last year, do you put some of that on the secondary, or do you put some of that on the coaching staff? I mean, if the court, I mean, is it about Jim Schwartz not putting the people in right positions to make this defense successful? Because to me, he made no adjustments to even try to put pressure on the quarterback to get the ball out the quarterback's hands. He's playing a lot of man-to-man defense, having guys 10 yards off the ball, where you know the quarterback is dropping back and these receivers doing short routes, catching the ball and running up the field. I mean, do you do what's going on in that situation? Like you said,
Yeah, I definitely would pin that on coaching because
yep,
at the end of the
definitely,
day, you're the one making the decisions. You're putting the guys out there. You're making the adjustments. You're scheming. You're doing a lot of that stuff. Yes, it's about the players' execution, but it's also
yep,
about the coaches putting them in the right spots to execute that. I
yep,
mean, you can put a corner, you can you can set up a 3-4 on a quarterback that doesn't run,
yep,
and I mean, that's not necessarily what you'd run, but
yep,
you'd be like, "Oh, they execute great," but it doesn't work.
yep.
Like it's you've got to do it right, or else execution doesn't matter.
I mean, if you're going against a quarterback that's really not actually a good quarterback, say Gardner Minshew, and you're playing 10 yards off the ball, and you're allowing this guy to step back and get easy throws off, that can build quarterback confidence very, very quickly and give him a chance to pick apart this defense. And I feel like Jim Schwartz made no adjustments on. At least you can try to put some pressure on the quarterback, put some pressure on the quarterback. Even though we was by like number one, number two in the league and top five in sacks last year. We still was able to get sacks and we didn't blitz. But don't you feel like he should have put more pressure on the quarterback last year?
Yeah, and that was a big thing of mine was just you can't let them get comfortable because if they get
Mm-hmm.
comfortable, they can just fall into their game and you're done.
Yep.
You're cooked because they will pick apart that defense once they're comfortable. You gotta push them out of their comfort zone. You gotta make them move. You gotta make
Yep.
them make mistakes, and you're not gonna do that if you don't blitz.
Yep. And that's one thing that Jim Schwartz didn't do last year. He didn't blitz. Quarterbacks was able to sit in the pocket and shred this defense. So I mean, you don't put most of you just put that on a terrible scheme of Jim Schwartz because him not able to bring pressure at times. Sometimes the defensive line not going to always get back there, but like I say, if the quarterback is throwing the ball fast and the cornerbacks are playing 10 yards off the receiver, I mean. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing that the defensive line can do because you got your cornerbacks 10 yards off the receivers, and the quarterback is just doing those quick slants, those stop and go routes and stuff like that. You can't guard. It's nothing that the defensive line can do. So, how do you feel about this coaching staff? How do you feel about the coaching staff so far?
Um, I like it. Jonathan Gannon, the new defensive coordinator, is already preaching versatility. We've seen him run a lot of different schemes in training camp from what we've heard. And that's good because if you've got a defense that you think at times you can jump from a 3-4 to a 4-3 back and forth or sub variants of a 4-3 or a 3-4, that would be great because that can help you in the long run because nobody knows what you're going to run. And the attitude all of these coaches bring is a very good one. Like Nick Rollis, the linebacker coach, said it very well. He's here to coach. He's young and he wants to coach, but he's also here to learn and to grow with the players.
Yeah,
And I think that's what the whole coaching staff is doing, and it's very beneficial for everybody.
yeah, like that statement. So, give me a person. Do you see Greg Ward making this team? Do you see Greg Ward making the squad?
If he does, I think barely, and it'd only be because he's old reliable. He's somebody who he's your oldest guy on the squad, and he's given you consistency before. That's the only way he really makes it. And it depends on how they look at the other guys on the roster too, not just him.
Yeah, I'm good. Uh, so who do you see getting cut? A player that you think that's doing well at training camp but not making this team. Give me a player that you feel like that's doing enough to make this team right now that you're hearing about, but would not make this team.
Hmm, that's a tough one, but I don't know if there's anybody that's necessarily standing out right now that won't make it.
Yeah,
I think everybody that's standing out is standing out in a position battle, like your Josh Sweats, your Jordan Mailatos, like
yeah.
those guys. Even Josiah Scott's been standing out. He's been
Hmm.
forcing a lot of turnovers recently.
Okay. Give me a surprise player that you think won't make this team. Give me a surprise. That would be like right in your head. Why is this person cut? Give me a surprise person.
Honestly, I can see a surprise cut being maybe a John Hightower
Hmm.
because he's a good player. He's a great route runner, but he reminds me, and he's got some speed, but he reminds me of Aguilar. And one thing that worries me is how he gonna have PTSD and then just say, nope, I want nothing to do with it.
Hmm.
Because he made the mistake with Aguilar before and kept him too long. He won't want to do that again.
All right. But let's put this Deshaun Watson situation to rest. I mean, everybody, all Eagles fans is going crazy. What's good, my boy Samuel? What's good, Bird Breach? What's good, man? Welcome to the stream. Let's put this Deshaun Watson situation to rest right quick. Everybody's bugged out about the Deshaun Watson situation because of that one tweet. Again, again, like I say, I believe in Jalen Hurts and his ability of what he can do. I believe in him, and I believe Jalen Hurts will be an Eagle by opening day. The Texans just named Tyrod Taylor the starter if Deshaun Watson is traded. So they coming out and saying Tyrod Taylor will be the starter, which is I said he need that's who need to be the starting quarterback, and I'm happy for Tyrod Taylor. I will that video will be up there in a couple of seconds and a little bit later today. But give me how do you feel about this shenanigans going on between Jalen Hurts and Deshaun Watson and the talks is heating up, which is I don't think they're gonna make a move. I don't think the Eagles are gonna do that.
I don't
But you never
either.
know. You don't know Howie Roseman. You never know him. I just don't think that will happen though. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you look at when that tweet came out. I don't know if you were on the stream. I think you were
Yeah, I
over.
was on the thing. Yeah, I was on the stream.
Yeah, because we
Definitely.
all jumped in on Eagles
Yeah.
Uncensored channel, and Vic3 said, from what he's heard, it's not true. A lot of the bigger news sites and like PFF and stuff who picked up and ran with it
Yeah.
cited the original tweet as the source, and they never really nobody really came out and said it alongside him, which got me skeptical at first. And then you've got a lot of guys coming out and saying, "Well, we're hearing the opposite. There's nothing going on with Watson."
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I it makes no sense to bring him here because it's the likeliness of Watson not playing this season, or at least a good amount of it, is very high. Because these allegations aren't just going to go away at some point. Even if they do end up, if he's found not guilty, he's still going to miss games. I mean,
Yep.
Zeke, he had domestic charges on an ex girlfriend that he ended up being found not guilty. He still got what, 6 games?
6 games suspension. Yes, sir.
So
He still got it.
with this Sean, even if he's not guilty, he's down at least half the season easily.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I think Deshaun Watson will miss a lot of games this year. I think we miss. I think he will miss some games this year. I don't think he will be playing that much this year. Uh, I just think the Texans going to make a move. They're going to make a move definitely. I see them definitely making a move. I don't see Deshaun Watson staying here during the season. I just don't see him staying here, and he has not reported to training camp. I don't know if it's a knee issue or anything, but I don't think it's a knee issue. I just think his attitude is unacceptable. I just don't think he's able. He's showing up. He doesn't want to be there in Houston. So the Houston asking for a big deal for him too. And like I say, for the Eagles, no. Anybody else, they deserve it. The team, the Texans should keep their trade right there. Before the Eagles, Howard Roseman bet not budge at that damn deal. He bet not make this move, or you'll see rant videos all over Philadelphia. You'll see rant videos, I guarantee you, all over Philadelphia. So he better not make this move. Before anybody else, you can stay at your deal because Deshaun Watson, by the way, is a transcendent quarterback. He is a superstar quarterback in this league. He's proven, you know what he can do. You know when he come in your locker room, he make a team better. But for this situation, Jalen Hurts, I want him as a starting quarterback. That's just simple. He deserves he deserves another shot. He deserves a shot. He deserves a shot. But like if Jalen Hurts are not is not working out for this year, can you see the Eagles changing their mind and getting a quarterback in the next year's draft? Or the next 2 years, if you see him not, if they see him not working out, do you see the Eagles changing their mind and getting the quarterback?
It depends on how bad he does. If he crashes and burns, and Philadelphia likes what they see in the draft, then yeah, I can see them going for it. But I don't think the chances of him failing are that high.
No,
So
I don't think so either.
but I think it's possible, especially with Howie. Nothing's off the table with him, no
Oh
matter how
no,
stupid.
sir. Yep, good. Nothing. I think, like I say, Howard Roseman, whatever he do to make the team better, he would definitely do it. He would definitely get desperate, and he would definitely try to do it. He would definitely do it. And Howard Roseman is the type of GM he have you scared. You don't know what type. You don't know what he's gonna do. Like he'll be a fool. He can also be a fool and make that deal happen. The Deshaun Watson deal. He can also that's how scary everybody is. He can also be a fool and make that move. He's that you just don't know what he wants. He can make some great moves. He can make some bad, terrible moves. The Steven Nelson move. How do you feel about the Steven Nelson move? And do you think Steven Nelson is gonna have a good season for this team? Yo, Jordy. Can you hear me, Jordy? Jordy. Jordy here? He must service style. I'm gonna wait to Jordy. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody. Wait till you come back. Wait till you come back in. We about to get ready to close it out. Close it out anyway in a minute. So wait till my boy Jordy get back in. Or if he can't get in, we'll be straight. Well, shout out to him, man. His link is at the pinned comment, man. Make sure y'all go check him out. What's good, Samuel? What's good, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Shout out to everybody that support the channel. See if Jordy coming back. If Jordy's gonna come back up. Shout out to the four in the stream. Shout out to my boy JDW. Shout out to everybody, man, in the chat, man. Shout out to all of y'all, man. Love all y'all. Love all my supporters. Love all of my family. Y'all just like my family, man. Y'all keep putting in that hard work and grinding. All you young YouTubers out there, man, like I encourage y'all on y'all videos, man. Y'all keep up putting that hard work and that grind up, man. Anything is possible. And I got another couple of videos that I'm putting out there. Try to give Jordy Fighter a chance to come back. Shout out to my boy that came to the chat, came stepped up. And like I say, Sunday, we got Key in the building. And I believe I'm gonna do another live stream on I'm gonna do two of them on Sunday. I'm gonna do two of them on Sunday. He said Wi-Fi not working. Be back if I can. All right, just let me know, man, if you can come back or not. Let me know if you can come back or not, Jordy. I'll keep the chat keep the chat going. Keep it going. Keep everything going. Big shout out to everybody. Big subscribe. There go my boy Jordy. There
Eh,
we go.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi bricked itself, so I'm back.
Nah, you good. You good. Good, man. We fit to close it out in a couple minutes. So anyway, what I was saying, like you saying you do see Deshaun Watson, you do see them kind of gonna make a move if he struggles. So you do see it, right? If he struggles, or you see him getting a quarterback in the next couple of years.
Yeah, definitely, because they're gonna need to get some, but it's Howie. They're going to get somebody, even if it's just an insurance policy.
All right. So how about I'll say again, do you see the Boston Celtics returning to the playoffs? Do you still think they're a playoff team as long as they got Tatum and Brown? Do you still see them making a playoff push this year?
Yeah, definitely, because they're a team that if they're built very well, they underachieve, but in years you don't think they're gonna make it, they can surprise you. So
Yeah,
this year I think it's definitely possible, but you never know with this team and with a new coach. I think it can be a down year, but it also can be an up year. It's always unpredictable.
yeah. So I mean, I know it's hard to say earlier because, like I say, you know how every team is now in free agency. You know how the teams are built now, so you can kind of give a good glimpses. So you still think they're gonna be around that fifth, sixth seed? Do you still see them going in that, or you still see them playing in a play-in game? How do you see this team playing? How do you see this team play out? How do you see them doing?
I think if they're gonna make it in, it's gonna be a plan again.
Again, okay, okay, okay. Okay. Yeah. Give me a reason why they will make a playing game. Why you feel that way about yourself? Just give me a reason why you think a playing game.
Because when it comes to Tatum and Brown and Smart, they're never gonna give up, and
Yeah.
they're gonna push this team as far as they can. And I'm also hinging on can Pritchard take the next step, though I think you're probably going to see either Smart. I think you'll see Dunn starting at point guard because Dunn and Smart at the guard spots because they can play defense, and then Brown at small forward, Tatum at power forward, and then Horford at center. That's still somewhat of a scary lineup.
Yeah, that still could be good. That
And
still could be decent.
when it comes down to it, that kind of squad can still drop some points on you, no matter who it is.
Okay, okay, okay. Eagles prediction this year. How many games? They go over, under. How many games you think the Eagles win? And do you see them making the playoffs this year, or just missing the playoffs? How do you see it?
I've been saying for a while that this team's floor is 5 wins, but its
Mm-hmm.
ceiling is 9 wins, and that's hinging off close games like the divisional games, the game against the Raiders, the game against New Orleans, the Chargers, games like that. And this team, most games are in their reach if they want to take it. And I think we barely miss the playoffs. If not, I think we land a wild card spot. It all depends on how someone like maybe a New Orleans or an Arizona kind of plays out this season.
Okay.
But ultimately, I think we just barely miss.
All right. Out of Tampa Bay and Kansas City, which of those teams you see the Eagles kind of upsetting? Out of two of those teams, you have to pick one of them.
If I had to pick one that was would Philly has more of a chance to upset would be Tampa, because their offense isn't what the Chiefs is. The Chiefs are going to outscore you all day long, and especially with what Philly has, that's not hard.
Yeah.
And Philly is not going to keep up with the Chiefs' offense.
Oh no, I
Tampa
just said that.
is Tampa's not nearly that like that. They don't fire off on all cylinders like that all game. They can
Yeah.
still score, but a lot of their success lies in their defense. And
Yeah.
with what Philly has, I think that 3-4 is not going to be the most effective like it would against a more mobile quarterback, some other mobile quarterbacks.
All right. Give me out of these two teams. that you can see the Eagles, if they're struggling, dropping to the Jets or the Lions. Even though I don't think they're gonna drop those games to neither of these guys. If they do, you will see a rant video. Trust me, you will see that. You will see a rant video. But if they're struggling, give me out of these two teams, you see the Eagles can lose to.
Lions. There's no way you lose to the Jets, especially with Zach Wilson at quarterback. There's no way. If you lose to the Jets, then you just go to college. You should transfer your team from the NFL to college ball right now. Like, if you lose to the Jets, you're done for the year automatically. No, the Lions at least have some firepower. The Jets, they have Frank Gore. That's it. And Frank Gore's son is going to come in the league in what, 2 years? That tells you all you need to know.
You said no way you should lose to the Jets. All right, give me a team. Give me a like. Okay, you got the Raiders, you got the Chargers, you got the 49ers. Give me two of those teams you think the if everything's breaking right, or if they in the if the Eagles are in the middle of the pack fighting for a playoff spot. Give me a team. Give me one of those two teams, or at least two of those teams that you think they can get it together against. That you think they can really actually beat.
I think it's possible to beat the Raiders. You've got to exploit their rebuilding offensive line and their rebuilding defensive line. And then the Chargers, Herbert's only a second year quarterback. He's not he doesn't have the experience of someone like a Brady. So he's going if you bring the blitz and you bring your front four, maybe even a linebacker or a safety in the box, you're gonna make him make mistakes, especially with
Okay.
a new offense or a new defense. You're gonna make him make mistakes, even if he's got Keenan Allen and those guys on his offense.
All right. I'm gonna add one more question. We gonna close it out. It's been a great show, man. Uh, the Give me your top five Eagles of all time.
Ooh, like favorite or top
Favorite
five?
Eagles. Favorite Eagles. Yeah, that's what I mean. Favorite. Your favorite Eagles.
One's got to be Vic because he's a third of the reason I got into the NFL.
Okay.
Two, got to be Brian Dawkins. I think I barely missed his era, but he was, even looking back, he's still electric to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Three, I got to say Deshaun Jackson. Miracle at the Meadowlands, all of them, most of them. He's the reason for them. Four, and this one's kind of tough because I bounced between a couple different guys, but I gotta say Brent Selleck. He's always been one of my favorites, and he always will be. He'll always hold a special place in my heart among all these Eagles tight ends. And then five's got to be Sproles.
Okay, okay. I like that. See, mine is I got number five, I got Asante Samuel. He was a great ball hawk, great interception guy. Four, I got Brian Dawkins, man. Brian Dawkins is man, that dude was kind of like a Sean Taylor. Bring out that boom. Uh, the way he hit Reggie Bush, oh my God, I thought Reggie Bush was gonna be dead after he hit him. I mean, I thought he was gonna Reggie. I mean that. Yeah, I thought Reggie Bush was gone after that. I didn't think he was gonna get up. That showed you how tough Reggie Bush was. But that hit that Brian Dawkins put on him, man, I just thought he almost knocked that man the pads off his body on that, man. That was a devastating hit, and that was a hit to man. Brian Dawkins was a true monster. Number three, I got Michael Vick. Michael Vick was very good, and he didn't get a lot of credit for his arm as well. Michael Vick didn't get a lot of credit for his arm. That guy had a pretty strong. He had a pretty strong arm, if you ask me. He had a pretty nice little strong arm, and he was the fastest guy on the field as a quarterback, a 4-3 quarterback. If you look at that playoff game against the Green Bay Packers, that he won and that he wasn't supposed to go in there and win in Lambeau Field. He won that game. In that game against Minnesota when he ran that long run, Michael Vick was definitely a great guy when he was with the Falcons. Then he was able to come to Philadelphia and have a little success as well. He was a big part of that comeback too when Deshaun Jackson ran that football. He was a very big part of that comeback. And number two, I got Terrell Owens. Played one leg on a broken leg, one leg. He was able to perform on a broken leg. If Donovan McNabb, I thought Donovan McNabb, you would think by him throwing them down interceptions, he got paid with that chunky soup commercial. I think he got paid to throw that game away. I don't know what the hell happened to Donovan McNabb in that game, and the issues with him and Terrell Owens. And I got Randall Cunningham as my number one. Randall Cunningham was a monster, man. He was a mobile quarterback, very good, very athletic, and the guy was just an all around player. The guy was just a great player, man. And I really love Randall Cunningham. So one more thing before we get up out of here, uh, who is your favorite? Give me your favorite coach of all time for the Eagles.
Uh, I gotta say Andy Reid. And
Okay,
I mean, just look at what he did for this franchise. Look at look at all the coaches that have come from his tree. He's a great coach. He had great staffs when he was here, and the I mean, besides him being memorable for choking away playoff games, he was somebody who could get it done in the regular season, which is half the battle.
okay. I love Andy Reid as well, man. I definitely agree with you on that Andy Reid situation. Well, man, it was an honor to have you on the show today, man. I really thank you for coming on the show. Tell everybody where they can follow you at.
Again, you can follow me at Jordy Fighter on YouTube. I'm over there with my 3 podcasts, and I just love talking sports. So thanks for
Man.
having me on, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Oh yeah, we can do it again, man. We already know we gonna do it again on your channel next time. I gotta return the favor. But shout out to everybody that was in the stream. Y'all follow my boy Jordy Fighter, man. The pin comment at the top as we go. Go Texans, go. Fly Eagles, fly. And saying so long from Coach Dante Stream. Thank you guys.
Peace.
Peace out, man.